Hello, welcome back. I'm Kat and welcome to Essential Yoga with Kat. Today we'll be focusing on a more traditional Vinyasa flow, and I'll talk us through that as we go. We're going to generate a little bit more heat, we're going to create a little bit more strength in the arms and the legs. We're really thinking about tall, straight postures. And again, as always, we're aiming to connect our breath with our movement and allowing the mind just to focus on those two things and really just honing in and tuning in to this sort of space around ourselves. The essential oils that I'm using today in my diffuser is geranium and bergamot. They are my absolute favourites. Together they are beautiful. My favourite is geranium, and in fact I'm going to place a little bit in the palms of my hand. I find that they're both really good for moods, for the fluctuation, especially the fluctuation in moods and feelings at these very tumultuous times. Geranium really smells like rose, and I just find it such a beautiful oil to place on my heart center, but equally bergamot as well. The lovely citrusy but very earthy grounding citrus is a really nice way to commence practice. If you have some essential oils and if you like using that in your practice, it's a really nice way to start. It's a nice way to just really focus, center yourself, and just prepare for a bit of yoga for your yoga practice. So we're just going to start first on the mat, finding a comfortable seat. So either sitting on your shins or sitting flat on the floor with your legs crossed, whichever seated position you like. You might want to do it in a chair to begin with. But the important thing is just to find just a couple of moments just to allow your body, your mind to arrive on the mat, to acknowledge your practice. I find this little moment just really helpful, almost to put a bit of a stopper or a bookend in everything else that's come before, and the rest of my day. I'm now carving out space here now to move my body, to center myself, to look after myself. We're going to warm the body up gently, bringing the chin down towards the chest and allowing the head to rock from side to side. Brilliant. Warming up the shoulders, so allowing them to make circles, big, deep circles, one way and then the other way. Warming up the arms, just stretching them out, opening the heart towards the sky, and then as if we're capturing a big ball, allowing the arms to come in front, arching the spine just gently back, and then opening, flexing the spine as we open up, and then curling over a big beach ball, holding it towards your body. And one more, open up, and hugging a tree trunk between your arms. Great. Coming back down. So we're going to first position the body over into a tabletop position. So placing the hands below the shoulders, the knees below the hips, flattening the feet out onto the floor. Really tall, straight spine. We'll take a couple of cat-cows. So inhaling as the belly comes down towards the earth, head peeling up towards the sky. And exhaling as we press away from the earth, arching the spine up, tucking the head in. And another one, looking up as we inhale. And exhaling as we press away. Beautiful. Back to straight spine. So I'm just going to remind you of the child's pose, which is your rest or restorative pose, a chance for you to catch your breath in between. It's a bit of a lifesaver in a vinyasa practice in case you just need a little moment just to stabilize before carrying on. So you can sit back onto your feet. And one option is keeping your knees kind of closer towards each other and just allowing the head to come all the way down to the mat and allowing the hands just to gently rest beside your feet and allowing that to just breathe into the whole back of the body. That's one variation. The other option is keeping your big toes together, your knees almost as wide as the mat, allowing your torso to gently rest between your thighs, extending your arms out, and this is extended child's pose. We're bringing the tailbone back towards the back of the room. We're stretching towards the front of the room with the arms, and we're breathing. Great. So remember that child's pose is available to you. You can come into child's pose at any point through the practice. Take as many breaths as you need, take as much time as you need, and then just catch up with wherever we are once you're ready. So coming up to table, tucking the toes under, we're going to come up into downward facing dog. So we're pressing down into the mat with our hands. They're roughly the same distance of our shoulders. Tucking the toes under, the toes are roughly hip width apart. And we're going to be guided by the tailbone as we come up into downward facing dog, pedaling out the legs. And as you pedal each leg in, you're straightening the other leg. And by doing that, you're strengthening and straightening out your hamstring as you feel the legs just gently stretching out. Great. And once you've done that, you're going to find a little bit of stillness as we're pressing away from the floor with the feet and with the hands, bringing the tailbone higher up into the sky. Deep breaths. So we're going to do a vinyasa now, and I'll talk you through. And the vinyasa is the bit that we will do in between each of our postures as we continue to use that to ground and reset. So we're going to do a vinyasa by coming forward into plank. So we're pulling the body away from the mat in one straight, tall line. Feet coming away from the torso with the heels. Head peeling towards the front of the room. Really activating the core. Deep breath in plank. And then we're going to come down, lowering the knees, lowering the torso down onto the mat. Straightening out the legs, pointing the toes towards the back of the room, really activating, strengthening the legs. Putting the hands just below the shoulders, we're peeling up from the crown of the head, keeping the elbows in towards the body. And just bending the back, so we're stretching, arching the back. Deep breath. And then lower. So when we do that cobra pose, that low cobra, we're aiming to be able to lift the hands up off the floor because we're not using them to anchor the body up. We're actually lifting from the core and from the glutes. So try that again. So we're peeling up into cobra. You can test by being able to lift your hands up from the floor. So really active legs, active core, active back. And back down. Tucking the toes under, we're coming back up into downward facing dog. So our vinyasa is downward dog to plank, to cobra, and back up to downward dog. We'll take another vinyasa now. So from downward dog, forward into plank, knees, torso down, peeling up into cobra, down, back up into downward dog. Great. So we're going to continue with some more postures. So we're going to stabilize the weight into the left leg, lifting the right leg up into the air. Bending the knee, opening the hip, and straightening out the hips again. Bringing the right leg in towards the hands at the top of the mat. So we're in a high lunge. Beautiful. In our high lunge, we're going to balance on the ball of the back foot as we come up and stretch up towards the ceiling with the arms and grounding down in a high lunge towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Deep breath, high lunge. Great, and bringing the hands back down, stepping back into downward facing dog, taking another vinyasa, so forward into plank, knees down to cobra, heeling up into cobra, down, back up into downward facing dog. Great. Taking that over to the left side, left leg up into the air. Bringing the knee in and then letting it come through, placing it between the hands at the top of the mat. Coming back up into a high lunge, arms up into the air, lunging down, deep breath. And back down. Stepping back into plank, down into cobra, down and back up into downward facing dog. Great. Now we're going to bring the right leg back up into the air. Again, bringing it all the way through, placing it between the hands at the top of the mat. We're now going to place the back leg down at a 45-degree angle. And we're going to be peeling the body up. So we're lunging forward still with the front leg. The back leg is tall and straight. We're coming up into warrior one. So this time the difference is that the back leg is grounding down completely into the mat. It's at a 45-degree angle, the foot, but the whole sole is on the floor. We're leaning forward with the front leg. The torso, the hips are facing the short side of the mat. And we're peeling up into warrior one. Deep breath. Great. And from here, we're going to interlock the hands behind the body, opening out the heart. And we're going to lean forward over the front leg, bringing the interlocked fingers up behind. Deep breath here. And coming back up. And we're going to open out to warrior two. We're going to do that by changing the direction of the back foot to a 90-degree angle. Still leaning forward on a lunge in the front leg, opening the body out. This time the body's looking towards the long side of the mat. So we're feeling this front leg tipping, sort of tilting towards the front as we twist the whole torso towards the long side. Warrior two. Deep breath. And then placing the front arm just above the thigh of the front leg, stretching the top arm up, aiming for a really deep stretch between the tops of the fingers and the bottom of the extended leg. Great, coming back to warrior two, windmilling the arms back forward. We're stepping back into plank. Great. Lower, down, coming up into cobra, back down, and stepping back up into downward facing dog. Deep breath there. Great, coming up now on the left leg, up into the air. Coming forward with the left leg, allowing it to come between the hands at the top of the mat. planting the back foot down, so it's at a 45-degree angle again. Front leg still lunging. We're going to peel up into warrior one. So torso again is facing that short side of the mat. So really consciously bringing it forward, stretching up with the arms. And then interlocking the hands behind the back, opening out the heart center. And then almost being guided by the heart as we lean forward over the front leg and find a few nice deep breaths here. Great, we're coming now into warrior two. So I'm going to change my position so that you can see what I'm doing, but you stay exactly where you are. So I'm going to mirror back, so I'm coming up from warrior one, opening out my arms and changing the direction of the back foot. So it's now at a 90-degree angle. Changing the direction of my torso so that it's facing the long side of the mat and coming out into warrior two. Nice deep lunge with the front leg, feeling a nice deep stretch on the inner thigh, pulling up with the crown of the head. Deep breath here in warrior two. Great, we're going to take side angle by bringing the front arm just to hover it on the thigh. We're not putting too much weight into it though, we're just hovering and stretching up with the top arm above the head. Nice deep stretch between the fingertips and the sole of the foot, of the extended leg. Great, coming back up. Windmilling the hands back over the front leg, coming back into plank. Good work. Lowering the knees, coming down onto the floor, peeling up into cobra, low cobra, active legs, coming down and then coming back up into downward facing dog. Great work. Deep breath. Great, okay. So we're going to slow that down. We're going to bring the knees down onto the mat, and we're going to all sit back into child's pose. So find the variation of child's pose that you like, that seems to be calling you, either extended child's pose or the one where your head is down and your hands are beside your feet. Either option. Wherever you are, just finding a nice deep breath, allowing your body, your breath just to gently slow and cool down. Vinyasa is quite a yang practice, it's quite a warming, energetic, energizing practice. So you might feel some heat, you might feel your heart beating faster. Another deep breath here. I'm going to very gently peel the body back up into seated, finding that seat that we were in at the beginning of the session, however you were sitting. Connecting again with your shoulders, allowing them to rotate gently, slowly. Just checking in on how they might be feeling. Taking the head again down towards the chest and allowing it to rock gently from side to side, stretching again out the neck. Bringing the arms out. bringing them forward towards the center. We're going to take eagle arms. We're going to do that by bringing one of the arms up higher than the bottom arm, and we're going to interlock the top elbow in the lower elbow. So we're interlocking them like that. And then we're just going to bring them towards each other. Now you might just be there, or our hands might be fully twisted and able to, fingertips just touch your palm. You're not aiming to cinch or to interlock your hands or tear or pull in any directions, just gently embracing wherever they are. But we're aiming to feel a nice big stretch in the shoulder blades. Breathing. Great, opening out the arms again, and then bringing them back to the center and interlocking them the other way. So whichever arm was on the bottom before is now on the top. Elbows sitting in each other and hands just gently touching each other, gently, lightly. Deep breath. Beautiful. Now we're just going to release the arms, allowing them to settle somewhere, maybe on your knees, maybe on your thighs. And just slowing down the breath, slowing down, allowing the body gently to cool itself down. Finding a comfortable way to sit. You might want to now, if you have a meditation practice, you might want to commence your meditation. You might just want to sit here just a little bit longer, watching your breath as it enters and exits the body, intentionally focusing on expanding and contracting. Just spend a few moments, whichever way you'd like, finding your breath again. Thanks for joining me for this practice. I wish you all a really good day or evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Thanks for joining, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.